Yes, lads, welcome back to the channel. Today we have got another Premier League preview for this upcoming game week. Very exciting times. Last weekend proved to be one of the best weekends of Premier League football we've seen in a long time. The standout, of course, Liverpool versus Newcastle. So much drama surrounding that game, and it thoroughly delivered on the night. Fantastic game that was, but now we look ahead to this weekend's fixtures. As always, I'm going to be doing 5 games in some more detail, and then the other 5 would, of course, mention as well. But right, let's get straight into this. Up first, I have got Tottenham up against Bournemouth. So on this one, I do think it will be a close game. Of course, Tottenham back at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I'm going to go for 2-1 to Spurs to continue on that form they showed last week against Manchester City. Do I think Bournemouth will put up a fight? Yes, I do. I'm anticipating them to really give it a good go, but ultimately, Spurs going to be too strong. I think we're going to see a mix of who we saw against Manchester City as well as who we saw against Brentford, especially in the midfield. But there is one man in particular that is going to be shining on Saturday, and that is going to be Mohamed Kudus. He's impressed me so much since joining Tottenham, and against Manchester City, he was arguably the man of the match. I'm now expecting him to really have a bigger impact on the game in terms of goals and assists, and I think he's going to be the main man. Everything's going to go through him on that right-hand side, and he is going to cause Traffé a lot of issues for Bournemouth. As for Bournemouth, of course, it's going to be Semenyo. I just couldn't not pick him. He is their most dangerous player. I'll be honest, when I saw the price tag that was quoted for him in the summer, I believe it was £65+ million, I did think, really? Is this where the market's got to? I think he might be worth every single penny. A really reliable, consistent, just overall good player for this division. So yes, Semenyo to be the one to watch out for Bournemouth in terms of creating chances, but also driving them up the pitch on transition. When Porro and Spence drive forward, expect Semenyo to cause some carnage. So yeah, they're the key players for me in terms of this game. In terms of who is missing, it is Basuma for Spurs as well as Destiny Udogie. And as for Bournemouth, it is Lewis Cook, who will not feature on Saturday. So both teams relatively full strength. Looking forward to this one. As I say, Tottenham 2, Bournemouth 1. Now then, up next, I'm gone for Leeds up against Newcastle. Again, I think this game will be quite tight. I struggle to see how many goals Leeds will score, and there's a lot of variables that will affect the outcome of this game. One of which we will go straight into. It will be the injury news for Newcastle. Fabian Schär, Joelinton and Tonali all went off last game. Are all of those going to be fit? Are none of them going to be fit? We really don't know at this point. I looked for an update today. There isn't really one. Eddie Howe quite cryptic on this. What I would say is if they are missing Joelinton and Tonali, that midfield, how strong will it be? I expect Miley and Willock to come in, who can definitely do a job. But Leeds, of course, themselves without Tanaka and Ampadu, so that midfield battle is going to be key in this game. If both teams do get, for example, Tanaka back, and then you also see Joelinton and Tonali, the game's going to be very even. However, as I said, I'm not sure Leeds are going to be capable of scoring more than 1 goal against Newcastle. So I'm going to go for Newcastle 2, Leeds 1. And I think the key players to watch in this game, I think it's going to be a very interesting one. So Dan James and Notto, but especially Dan James. So Newcastle, of course, going to be up the pitch, causing Leeds some issues. Leeds on the counter, that's where I expect them to be lethal. Dan James with his pace to make the difference. As for Newcastle, I'm going to go for Elanga. I really need to see Elanga break a team down. Yes, he's great on the counter. We saw his pace in full force against Liverpool, made Kirkez, who isn't slow, look very slow. I'm going to now need to see him break teams down, show a bit of technical ability more so than he has shown so far, and so I'm going to go for him as the key player. And I'm expecting him to finally really show some ability in a Newcastle shirt. Big game for him. Nottingham Forest now up against West Ham. This again, I can see it only going one way, and that is going to be a Nottingham Forest win. I've gone for 2-0, and I think West Ham are in a load of trouble right now. Graham Potter is not the man to take them forward. That is quite evidently clear. But let's not put all the blame down on Graham Potter. The recruitment for the last 3 to 5 years has been absolutely shocking, and we're seeing that now. So yeah, West Ham going to struggle on the day. Nottingham Forest, there's so much to love about them right now. The new signings, the fact that, you know, they lost Elanga, who we just mentioned, and they've managed to get Ndoye in. He looks fantastic. They've made other signings too, as I say. So West Ham not going to have enough to get a goal against Forest. Forest to get 2. Key player-wise for West Ham, I'm I'm going to go with Lucas Paqueta. Great goal against Chelsea, got a goal against Wolves as well. In terms of a player who's having a good season in a bad side, he is one of them. Of course, Jared Bowen will also help the team, but realistically, we all saw those end of match scenes against Wolves. Something was said, there's a real horrible feel about West Ham, especially when Mr. West Ham, Jared Bowen, is nearly squaring up to fans. So West Ham going to have a disappointing day, but if anyone can do anything, it will be Lucas Paqueta and of course Jared Bowen. As for Forest, I am expecting them to have the ball majority of the time. West Ham, I think they're going to have to really shore up. They've conceded too many goals so far this season, 8 in terms of Premier League and 3 in the EFL Cup as well. So I'm expecting them to drop a bit deeper, and I'm looking at Morgan Gibbs-White to be the man that really breaks this side down. In terms of the West Ham midfield, I'm looking at Gibbs-White to really break through it, cause some chaos, get some chances in for the wingers, and of course Chris Rudd. So yeah, Gibbs-White going to be the key player for Forest. Team news wise, as for West Ham, it looks like Somerville will miss out, with Jared Bowen of course linked away with a move as well. Unsure if he will actually play. If I had to put money on it, of course I would put that he will. But yeah, Somerville, the only one of notoriety that is going to be missing. As for Nottingham Forest, it's almost a clean bill of health for them, which is fantastic news. I am looking at Douglas Luiz now though. Is he going to come in, presumably to play alongside Elliot Anderson, especially in a game like this? So will Sangare keep his place or Douglas Luiz come in? Great problem to have for Nottingham Forest, not so great problem to have for West Ham. As I say, Forest 2, West Ham 0. Aston Villa now up against Crystal Palace, and maybe I have my Villa tinted goggles on when I give this prediction, but I've gone for 1-1. Villa, of course, will be missing Boubacar Kamara, which is a huge loss to their midfield. Onana and presumably Tielemans are going to have to play in that pivot, and it has worked at times, but Kamara is so key to the team and it functioning. As for Crystal Palace, no notable team news for them in terms of absentees. Will we see Jeremy Pino, recently signed this week actually from Villarreal, heavily linked with Villa previously, so I was very excited about the prospect of him being up for sale, especially at the price that it was. He's gone to Palace. It's an Eze replacement, and it's a great replacement at that. They don't have Eze anymore. Who's going to step up? Will he get the start? We'll have to wait and see. In terms of the players that are left that will step up and have stepped up alongside Eze, of course, we've got Sarr and Mateta. Aston Villa's record against individual players, the top 2 overall in the Premier League currently still playing, Sarr and Mateta. So these guys, they love coming to Villa Park. They love playing against Villa. I'm expecting them to cause a bit of trouble. That Aston Villa defence has looked shaky this season. So yeah, they're my key players for Crystal Palace. As for Villa, I've gone for Ollie Watkins. The reason being is because Ollie Watkins needs to have a good game if Villa have any chance. That Palace back 3, so difficult, as we mentioned last week with Chris Wood. So difficult to have a good game against them. Ollie Watkins has done it before. Villa will need him to do it again. So if Villa have any chance, I'm looking at Ollie Watkins. I've gone for 1-1. I'm wearing claret and blue tinted goggles, so maybe it might be 2-1 to Palace. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, interesting game lies ahead there. Sunday at 7 o'clock though. Come on, what's that about? And finally, the big one, Liverpool versus Arsenal. What a game on paper this is. Arguably, well, it's certainly 2 out of 3, in my opinion, in the title race. Let's start with who is missing for this one. So for Arsenal, it looks as though Bukayo Saka, the man who I said at the start of the season just gets injured a bit too much, is injured again. So Saka to miss this game 100%. As well as that, Ben White, although that's not too much of an issue if I'm going to be honest, after the way Timber came in and played the other week. So yeah, Ben White, Saka, both missing for Arsenal. As for Liverpool, it is Frimpong that's missing at right back, but no worries because Conor Bradley looks back now. He came on the other day. As well as that, they are also missing Alexis McAllister. Whether he'll make the bench or not, we're unsure, but regardless, not fit to start. But it's a big boost for Liverpool. Szoboszlai should now shift inside in the middle. Curtis Jones will most likely drop down to the bench, but Conor Bradley coming in at right back, an actual conventional right back that will really help Liverpool, who at times look very shaky defensively. As for this game then, how I see this going. First of all, I see goals in this game, and I think there's going to be a few players that this style of game is going to really benefit. The first of which is going to be new signing for Arsenal, Eberechi Eze. I think regardless of who Eze plays, he's going to be a live wire, very dangerous. Against this Liverpool side, where on transition they do look so ropey, whether it be Kanate, Kirkez at times, and of course we mentioned there hasn't really been a right-back presence for them this season. Eze is going to shift over to that left-hand side. Connor Bradley, we mentioned him a moment ago. He's going to have a very good game in order to stop him. So Eze is going to be the key player for Arsenal, but I also want to touch on Victor Gyökeres. So we know that Arsenal drop normally 11 players behind the ball when they can and make it really compact in terms of their shape and formation. Victor Gyökeres does very well on the counter. So I'm expecting to see Gyökeres do that again in this game. Will Arsenal drop deep and ping a ball up to Gyökeres, who's going to be expected to hold it up, physicality, and bring players into the game? It could really suit him. Or what we will see is we'll see Van Dijk and Konate absolutely bully him. So this is a real test for me, a real challenge for Gyökeres, but one that suits his style of play and the way that he likes to play. So yeah, the Liverpool fullbacks, of course, will fly forward, which will also invite Gyökeres to go into that left channel that he loves so much. That's also Konate's side, and Konate this season has not started very well. Big game pending for Victor Gyökeres, as well as Eberechi Eze, and of course the other players as well, but those two in particular. Now, in terms of Liverpool, there's one man in particular that I'm looking at, and that is Ryan Gravenberch. Reason why I'm looking at Gravenberch is because I think Arsenal on transition going to be very dangerous, and Gravenberch is going to be there to mop it all up and to stop it becoming a real problem. And I think he's so good at doing that, especially since Arne Slot has come in. So Gravenberch in that respect, in terms of a key player, of course, already mentioned Van Dijk is going to need to be at his best to stop Victor Gyökeres. And with Arsenal dropping a bit deeper, we're going to have to see a good performance from a player that has not had a good performance in a Liverpool shirt yet, and that is Florian Wirtz. I need him to really demonstrate now why they paid the money. So far, he doesn't look necessarily physical enough to be an 8. He doesn't look quick enough to be a winger, and in terms of the 10 position, I know he has that creativity, but I think we're yet to see it. Movement-wise, he looks very good, but in this Arsenal side where they drop very deep and they've got a very physical team, I need Florian Wirtz to be the difference here. So I'm looking at that set of players to make the difference. Of course, Ekitike will always be dangerous, as will Salah and Gakpo. But realistically, there's so much to look forward to in this game. I cannot wait to watch it. Sunday, 4:30. Great game on paper. I'm sure it will live up to the expectations. It can't possibly be better than Liverpool-Newcastle. And if it is, what a treat we have back-to-back. So yeah, very exciting game ahead. I have got it Arsenal 2, Liverpool 2. As for the rest of the Premier League then, I've got Chelsea 3, Fulham 0. Can't see Fulham getting a goal against Chelsea, who are really going to turn it up now. They've had a quite nice start to the season when you look at who, for example, Arsenal have played. So yeah, Chelsea 3-0 winners on the day at home in the derby. Burnley picked up 3 points last week. Manchester United held at Fulham. I'm now expecting Manchester United back at home, looking to have that good feel around the club again. So yeah, 2-0 to Manchester United is what I'm going for. Brian and Buemo to get off the mark in a Manchester United shirt. Sunderland had a good start, but then they lost to Burnley, which really reset that win against West Ham. I think up against Brentford, who have got their tails up, back-to-back wins, one in the cup, one in the league. I think this has 1-1 written all over it, but realistically, both sides will probably take that point before the game. Going to Sunderland will be no easy task for any team this season. So yeah, 1-1 Sunderland and Brentford. Wolves picked up a big win in midweek up against West Ham. I'm now expecting them though to lose on the weekend. Everton last week in their new stadium. 2-0 winners. Don't get me wrong, they look shaky at times, but they'll get better and better and better as this season goes on under David Moyes. So yeah, Everton 1-0 winners. Will be a tight game. Jordan Pickford to keep Wolves out and keep a clean sheet. Brighton up against Man City, a Manchester City side that were humiliated against Spurs at home last week. I think they will come back. They had chances, but realistically, the performance just fell flat on its face. So I'm going to go for Brighton 1, Manchester City 3. Erling Haaland to come back with some more goals. Could have had one last week. He'll get it this time. Brighton, difficult start to the season, some very tough games. So yeah, I'm expecting them to maybe take a bit of time to get into it, but they will, of course. So much to look forward to in terms of the action this weekend. Genuinely very, very excited to watch many games this weekend. I will, of course, be back with the Premier League review. That will be on Monday, as there isn't a Monday night game. So yeah, last one before the international break. I'm excited for it. I hope you are too. That is the end of this episode, though. We will be back, of course, as I say, on Sunday. So thank you very much for watching. Please do like, comment and subscribe. It really helps me in terms of the algorithm, so I very much appreciate any support that is given on the video, even if you're telling me I have no idea what I'm talking about. So yeah, as always, lads, I will catch you on the next one.